That ugly thing better not be shouting at me. There's no reason for any fucker to shout at me in this building. They're all ugly, retarded. You play bikini with me, motherfucker, you're gonna be a sad bitch. Literally, bitch. So there's a male already making threats as I come back to get my rental receipt, and he played bikini. He's playing, hey, you're gonna be a blah, blah, blah bikini. What does bikini mean? It is a word the black Nazis and the other retards are using for FGM. It's an ugly bastard around the other side. And he just made an FGM threat. It might be one of his, like one of the visitors. Or probably a resident. It's guaranteed to be a dog man. That thing signaled. The ugly thing is shouting and insane. You can hear him. Might have been that fat ass. That ugly fat bitch. We'll get a good film of the fat ass that was threatening me. So I had to come back up here to get my rental receipt. Of course, in between the threats directed at me and the smell of blood, fecal, urine, and semen in 208, right next to me, or 207, excuse me, I got distracted. So that ugly thing needs a rubber room, if that was he threatening. And that is not an uncommon threat. The ugly freaks that are black Nazis and in with them like to threaten people constantly. And remember, he's a fat ass. A lot of these fat asses, they can do whatever they want. They've scared people because they're fat ass morons. They're just fat asses. And they don't scare me. But, like I was telling before, I have a temper. So, not telling you to charge people, like charge at them if they're threatening you. So, here's that ugly fucking bitch. There's 3 of them. There they are. There they are. Right there. And they were threatening FGM. This is Greenlight Plaza Apartments. This thing is also a fat cannibal slaver. She's retarded, as you can see, like most of these things are. That's what's left. Ugly retard. I'm so glad you got to see the person threatening FGM. I'm glad you got to see them acting crazy, and that's who the Seattle Police Department lets act as though they're police, including to illegally detain people. They do home invasions. They're child molesters, murderers, rapists, torturers. They're animal torturers. These are sick, retarded freaks. There's not one in Washington that's of any notice, except bad. Oh, and by the way, I tried to charge my batteries all night. No charge. I have one that's 4, but it probably wasn't the one that was used, that was plugged in. And then one was still on 1. This thing's muttering, it was. And nobody listens to an ugly hooker, so shut up. You're gross. You just look like Angelines. That's why a WCA. And you'll always look like Angelines. So you see a lot of suspicious activity like welfare face, welfare ass in these expensive neighborhoods. They've taken people's money, their credit, and their property. I'm going to put this away so I don't lose it. Oh, this better be the right receipt. Temp. Let's see this. If not, there's going to be some trouble. Because I'm not going back again. Yeah, 213. I must have paid too much last time. Not a big deal. It's better than too little. Now, gotta watch even this shit behind me. You don't want it. And they will come up and try to put glass on you. It's linking with Booker. And he's playing blah, blah, blah. You're a pussy. You're not gonna do anything, bitch, that doesn't get noticed by me. And I don't want that ugly thing behind me. That was your DNA. You see they look abnormal? They are. They killed off pretty nice, normal, smart, talented, handsome. There's a Bridget Brown that's involved. Strangely enough, I wondered what happened to her. And he was thinking of doing something. Some of them will pull knives and guns and say, "You're coming with me," and they'll use like the buildings to butcher and torture. And there was one guy, I don't know if it caught on camera, he was licking his lips. I assure you it wasn't sexual. He was licking his lips in a cannibalistic way. So Bridget Brown goes up there, and Booker, the ugly fat retard from Recovery Cafe, it's blackmail. And the bums were threatening FGM as I left. And how do they get you? Well, they'll actually break into your apartment or other home and stick you with a needle. You could be in public too. They'll have somebody else do it. Remember, they're cowards. That's also how they rape you. And they'll break you in and rape you. And then they'll do things also to debilitate you or make you ugly. That's a big thing here. Debilitating and making ugly. And it's, they have a thing about destroying faces because they're so ugly. Some of them might even be trying to lose weight for one of their multitudes of identities. That's called. You don't talk to me, you're an ugly shit-ass moron. The ugly thing next to me is talking to me as I tie my shit. Shut the fuck up, bitch. You want to go to a mental hospital? Talk to me, ugly, because nobody wants you. Nobody's going to believe you. And the ugly thing is playing key. The ugly dog is playing key. So he's going to play key right into a mental hospital. Remember, he can't take care of himself. He needs to be rounded up. He is crazy. He is ugly and gross. That thing signaled. I think she's a Zeta, by the way. See the figures? fat slobs killed off normal people. They've starved them too. Yesterday there was a violent black male. I didn't have my phone because it wasn't charging. And he was taking advantage of that, I guess. And he was threatening me with kidnapping. And this thing is yapping in between whatever time he's talking or whatever person he's talking to. And he's playing blah, 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 especially pedophile. He is a pedophile. She's playing greasing you. Look at her big fat ass, lumpy. Look at that lumpy thing. And she thinks she could kill people, and she's so superior that she thought she could kill people. Do you find her superior? I see a big, fat, lumpy retard. That's all I see. It's a rainbow of retard. Here's more. I don't want to lose my rent statements. I'm cursing in case you're wondering what I'm doing. And remember, I was chased out before I even had breakfast. And there was some coffee that spilled in my bag. I don't even really care. I just wanted to get the fuck out of that smell. And that smell was making me vomit. This thing signaled, and she's playing seer. So that ugly thing made probably a torture threat. And remember, they're all zombies, they're all gone. They're all terrorists. And this thing is playing you owe me a meal. He's gonna play himself right into a mental hospital. You're going to get a meal, all right. You're going to a mental hospital, 3 hots a day, and you'll have a nurse injecting your butt. You'll probably like that. And she can chain your legs together. How about that? That's the way all of you should be walking in Washington anyway, with chains between your legs like you did to the captives, the victims. So I'm going to take a 45. And just because I'm going to the bank doesn't mean it's safe. Remember, there is a bum who goes to the bank. Well, he works there. There's a couple of them. They're very dangerous, and they will discuss gang crime right at the bank. And one of the popular gang crimes, pulled off by just about anyone, is a false affiliation. So someone comes in, they act like your father, your brother. I've seen it over the last 14 years. Did the bankers turn them in? No, they're in with them. It's your boyfriend. Oh, yes, I'm dressed in black today. I'm here to round up Lisa Guthrie for the police. And I've got to take her check. I've got to take her savings. Get out. And what is it? It's a guy with a stinky personal problem, and he's retarded. And he's clearly a gang member moron. Oh, and I've got a couple errands to do today. Got a couple errands. Just so that thing is still yapping, and remember, just because he has a headset on doesn't even mean he's talking to someone. He might be listening to music and it's just music. Then he was harassing me. It's not even because I wasn't really looking at the ugly thing. Go ahead, I have to have the ramp. Oh, I have to have the ramp. May I have the ramp? Yeah. Did you guys want to get on before I use the ramp? Thank you. So that ugly weirdo out there with headphones was making threats and acting crazy. And turns out he was listening to music, so it wasn't like he was talking to his phone. And by the way, a lot of threats at Green Lake Plaza, including by a bum named Booker. He has made torture threats, and he is about 6 foot, over 6 feet tall.
Next stop.
They were making slavery threats for Booker. It's Black Nazi moral. From Recovery Cafe, he's a big fat pig. Usually piles on a mound of food on his plate, a couple mounds.
Next stop.
And then pours ranch dressing on everything.
Northeast Ravenna Boulevard, Green Lake Parking Lot.
Usually he has a ring of ranch dressing around his lips. He's a big fat porker. Then there was a woman named Julia. She is, she used to be an old dominatrix, and she's from she had her business 2 blocks from the White House, she said, Washington, D.C., and she dresses like she's 14 to 16, sort of goth. I think she's got pink hair, but her face was so drawn, and she looked like such a crack addict. I couldn't believe it yesterday. Or not yesterday. Was it yesterday? The other day. Not yesterday. Day before. But I saw her again in Fred Meyer. Saw her at Fred Meyer. So usually long nails, weird colors, lots of black, big boots. So bums thought that they'd have a slave for her. So she's another one who needs to be rounded up. And then there's Carrie, who's right out of the recovery, making threats in 207. A lot of threats, 207. And Carrie has short hair. Her lips always look weird, like they're plumped up. She looks white. So does Julia, loosely based white.
Northeast and Northeast 65th Street.
Oh, and then at my building, there's a fat, ugly, white-looking porker, and he was making an FGM threat, and they're referring to it as bikini. And he was out there with the ugly black Nazi who had played with the axe with his bald friend that time. But the ugly, big, fat porker, he was yelling slavery threats apparently as I left, and then I had to go back and get my rental statement. So then I noticed who was threatening. He has a slight accent. But he's got a big head. He looks like a retarded guy. Big, fat, bulbous thing that nobody would want or like, just like any of them. And I could have invited Julia in. She's homeless, but obviously she's a problem. And obviously I know what the problem is. She's a drug addict Satanist, and I won't let her in because of that reason. I mean, you might look at her and think, oh, it's a sad old lady. Well, who cares? It's drug addict Satanist. It's creepy. She has a fake skeleton collection that
and Roosevelt Way, northeast.
Let's hope it's fake. And it reeked of blood next door, and I started vomiting. And there's been animal torture, I believe, in 207. And lots of threats by weirdos in 207 to come through the wall. Like just pound it through or... Oh, well, that's a calm day, actually, in Green Lake Plaza. I'm trying to think of how many gangs might have been there. Possibly 10 or more. Just, some people are in like 3. Supposedly Officer Bobby was there and his retarded son. And then also Dr. Jaffe was sneaking around on crack. There is a chiropractor that comes there. Dr. Larry Thomas. He's usually high on crack and, probably there doing Satanism as well. By the way, they don't do house calls. So he's a nasty, creepy thing if he comes to that building. You'd have to be nasty and creepy to want to hang out there. And chiropractors make pretty good money. He's probably spending a lot of his money on crack and little boys.
Next stop, 15th Avenue, Northeast and Northeast Rivetta Boulevard.
He's from Capitol Hill Chiropractic. I think they changed the name for a while, but the name's back. They moved the location. The ugly Indian guy that looks like a slug was threatening. Sounded like Jay Logston was there. And you could write a book about what they're commenting on and chanting. And they all think they're cops, remember that. They all think they're nurses and doctors, too. And then within the next few minutes, they think they're IRS. She's playing domicile. She's making a threat regarding dominance. And it looked like an ugly monkey with zits. Go pick your zits and leave people alone. Don't talk to them. Got a lot of zits there. That should take up all your days. They're pretty big, too. They'll absorb you.
Next stop, Northeast 52nd Street.
And then an ugly retardo thought he'd follow me out of the building. He started yammering about Booker. It looked loosely based white with curly hair. And he started walking to show you, I would suggest that he's not normal, just the way he walks. But, to the people that committed the genocide, that looks normal. The more retarded, the better. If you had a jar on your head and you were a lab specimen from the Mutter Museum, you would look normal here.
University Way,
even if you were like just a cow with an
Street.
intestine sticking out its ear, people would say, oh, that's the prettiest girl. What? The three-headed baby? They're stunning. Somebody can't get out of 45th.
You go down to 41st or not? 41st? Yeah.
I think it does.
Yeah. Oh. No. All right. Give me a minute. Give me a minute.
So yeah, all the people in my building should come equipped with jars on their heads. They look like specimens. Mutter Museum. It's that guy's liver.
Next stop.
I'm gonna get out with the dolly.
Northeast 45th Street.
Look. Online diary is paused. Whoops. We have the rail.
Thank you.
Thank you. Excuse me, I'm gonna have to come this.
Yeah, sorry.
Oh, there's no room because what are they doing? It's crazy. Thank you. Cancel. Good. This is Lisa Guthrie. Let's see, I'm wondering if the camera is working. I am in a dark area. Yeah, it's working. It's just dark. I'm in my storage, and I want you to know that it is 11:22 a.m. and it's Saturday, March 3rd, and there are zombie bums. I am not kidding you. Hiding in the crawl space, including retardos, and I had to brave a lot of things in the university district, including bums. Let me give you kind of a rundown. So at the bank, 45th and University, bums talking about committing crimes. A fat, ugly black moron came in, and he thought he would threaten me with some crimes. And, a fat, ugly moron. And he said, you're going to be folding towels downtown. So the ugly bitch had followed me basically into the bank. And the bankers were discussing about enslaving me and other people. And there's nothing left of Washington. The bankers have been crazed and freaked out on drugs and their cannibal zombies for over 14 years. So anybody who took to cannibal zombieism that well anyway, there was something wrong with them. So I might shorten this broadcast, and I'm going to start posting. I might leave another camera on in the background. Oh, and I'd like to state for the record, there were people bothering me as they went by in the bus stop and on the bus, making threats. There were Asian street gang members talking as though, oh, do you know how much money I'd get if I take her cell phone? And it was a group of not very good looking kids, under 20s and under. And then there's a whore now, by the way. She is threatening, and she's making a threat about marks. Now remember, these things are obsessed with scarring people. And remember, they're ugly mongoloids. If I had filmed who was left today, like the whole way, you'd see all these people tottering around like they are very secure about themselves. That's because they killed the competition. They tortured it. There was another female, by the way, she was actually at 65th and 12th. And she was threatening me as I was waiting for the bus to come up here. And she walked by with a black dog, and she stated, "You're going to say that I fed them and you beat them." And so these ugly bastards are into total animal torture. She was wearing a blue coat. She looked white, kind of blonde brown hair, I think straight or semi-straight in back, and probably 30s. And it was a whore that wasn't very fat, and she was probably 5'8". She's probably up here now, and you don't even know if that's actually her dog or just a duplicate dog that she's got here to torture, and she's taking it to the bathroom. Oh gee, it looks like 10 other dogs, you know, the same kind of even the same kind of mutt over and over. Poor dog, you know, which it is a poor dog. They do this, and I'm not being facetious about the dog. What I'm saying is these bums victimize animals. They have a big animal torture meat trade. They think it makes it better, and they're Satanists. And it's one of the things also that seems to come with Black Nazism as well. So you can't blame all just Asians for it. And it comes with Satanism. And let's just say that anybody who's involved in it, including to eat the meat, they are morons. There's nothing left of them. They're evil moron. And so there are females threatening and males threatening. I could hear when I came in, and I didn't see anybody visible on this floor. I didn't go exploring, but you could be here for like sometimes an hour or 2 hours. Somebody then is creeping out the stairway after you've checked the premises. Sometimes I have checked the whole premises upstairs. There's nobody around, and I've heard clanks and even moans in people's storage units where I believe they're keeping people captive in boxes that have had their limbs amputated. They're also bound up and starved and dehydrated so that they fit into boxes very nicely for the zombies, unfortunately. Very neatly. Not nicely, that's not nice, but very neatly. And this place usually smells of urine and fecal. Remember, storage units are dangerous. Why? Because they have to do with your identity, and these things are hungry for money, property, and for possessions.